Do you remember the intro?
Hello and welcome to Next Level Play Podcast, your source for all things eSports.
I'm Sydney.
I'm Marcus. Yeah, this is our podcast, our humble little podcast. I don't know where I'm going with this.
This podcast has been going on for almost like 2 years. We talk about video games.
Yes.
We talk about eSports.
We make bold predictions about the future.
Yeah.
I interrupt her a lot.
I'm still going to try to say the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
We always have on wonderful guests.
Who do we have today?
We have a really awesome cosplayer and content creator, so stick around for that. But for now, let's jump into it.
Yeah. The future of eSports and gaming is right here.
Right now.
Next Level Play. We're here to talk about Mel Brooks today.
No.
On the Next Level Play podcast.
Welcome back to Next Level Play. I missed you. I'm talking to the audience, but I'm also talking to you.
Oh, I'm waiting for the sting.
Nope.
Thank you.
How have you been, Marcus?
I've been really, really good. It's really nice to hear that from my best friend in the whole wide world, Sydney.
Thanks.
So thanks. I've been well. I've also missed the audience.
Yes.
I'm talking to you.
I'm looking at you. And me?
But I'm uncomfortable now.
Were you going to say you missed me?
I didn't mention that already?
Weird.
Did I not mention that already?
I guess we should just...
That's crazy.
You called me your best friend, and then you continued to just tell the audience how much you missed them. Well, here's what I've missed. Updates about the Switch 2.
Oh.
Am I right? You guys hear about this? You hear about this?
Yeah, sure.
We've talked a lot about the Switch 2. I've had some popular clips that have been made where I showed my disinterest in before there was even a trailer or any announcements about what it would actually entail in the new design for the new console. I seem disinterested, and I'm gonna kind of stick to my guns on this after we've also reported on that early trailer drop of what's going to be included. I wasn't that interested in the new button. I feel like I should really toss this to you because I've said it before. I'm not the biggest Nintendo head. I didn't grow up with Nintendo in my house. I don't have the nostalgia for the IP in the same way that I think people who are really excited for the Switch 2 have. And I don't want to yuck anybody's yum. I don't want to rain on your parade. Not a hater. That's Marcus's job. To me, I think, are some price points. Some price points on games, price points on new controllers. That's where I want to jump in and add a little fire to the fire. But I want to hear how you're feeling.
Well, there's a lot that's going on, really, because this is the first we've met since, and because we have to date it a little bit, since the Switch 2 has been properly announced.
Yeah,
right?
and we had an episode about that.
Right. Well, we had the kind of the teaser where it was Switch 2, and I went off and rambled a bit because there was nothing really revealed. There weren't really games.
There was that extra button.
It looked like there was an extra button and better specs, and they even I made fun of the name being very generic. I was very, very negative, and I think I have some more positive things to say now that there's actually been a Nintendo 2 Switch.
I think we fed into each other's negativity a little bit.
Yeah, Nintendo Switch 2 Direct.
Nintendo Switch 2
a little bit, yeah.
Direct.
It's fun to ramble. And listen, I have some rambles and some negativity to throw Nintendo's way.
I want to hear some positivity, though, because I'm the negative one about this.
There are things I'm very excited about. One, I'm mostly... some of the games look amazing. Some. In particular...
Name one!
The Donkey Kong...
Yeah, I've heard
3D platformer, which looks incredible. It's like Mario Odyssey, but with Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong. I love me some Donkey Kongs. Like, Donkey Kong Country games I just replayed for the umpteenth time, like, in the last few months. And I love that big, lovable oaf. Donkey Kong 64... Donkey Kong 64 gets a lot of shit, but it has a soft spot in my heart. That was the last we've come even close to like Nintendo doing a non-Mario real 3D platformer. Kirby had his 3D platformer. Their 3D platformer. Kirby's the alpha and the omega, as we all know, and I don't mean to...
Is that true?
Just Kirby's basically a mega god, but anyway, it's...
But I want to point out too. You're mentioning previous iterations of Donkey Kong, and one of the big things about the Switch 2 is that they say it will be backward compatible, and they will have the library of previous games Mostly.
Like 90%.
That's the caveat.
It's good enough for me, but I know a lot of people, there's some games that won't be compatible, and that's going to be a thorn in their side.
Yeah, you can't please everybody. Totally understand. 90% is pretty good for such an expansive amount of games like Nintendo has.
It's similar, to my understanding, if not even a little better than Xbox 360 being compatible with Xbox games, where... Yeah, it's way beyond my technical scope, but it's
but that's a plus for you as a retro gamer.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it's nice because, if I did get a Switch 2, my Switch 1 would be kind of more... I don't know if I would sell it. I don't know what I would do with it because there's not a whole lot of reason for me. A lot of people will keep their Switch 1s, and I understand there's certain games. For me, I'm kind of whatever, and I'll sell it. But I'll keep the controllers. Because those are all compatible with the Switch 2.
The Joy-Cons are?
Yeah. Everything is really kind of... There's a lot of... Again, I still think the name Switch 2 is lazy. But
wait, what would you have called it? Did you come up with something?
Fucking anything else. Seriously. I get... When has Nintendo done this before? You just put a 2 after it? Granted, don't be Xbox where you just put whatever fucking number or letter after it that you want.
S.
But
X.
Yeah. XS.
1.
Yeah, I have no fucking idea what they're doing, but it's fine. I don't know. Again, it's Super Nintendo. At least do something fun and Switch 2. It feels like a prototype name, but it's fine because there's so much compatibility between the two systems to where it kind of warrants the name.
It is, yes.
They're related. One's the older brother of the other. Very
I
clearly.
want to bring it back though to games, because that sort of is like the bigger announcement happening right now. Price points on these games. So Mario Kart World.
That's the stick. That's the sticking point for me.
$80. New Donkey Kong games. $70.
And that's kind of the strange thing to me. I don't know why there's not a standardization of why a Mario Kart is more expensive than...
That's also, at least on Steam, any AAA game, you're guaranteed, it's $69.99 or $59.99.
Well, and I get it, the budget went in more, and there's going to be... It's probably to pay for the servers of the internet, but there's also, you still need Switch Online to, even play these games, which is still a subscription, which, there's also DLC with Mario Kart that I don't really see happening to the same level with Donkey Kong, so that's kind of weird. Money inflates, I get that, but also cartridges back in the day were very expensive to make, and then CDs were a little cheaper, so it was kind of awkward where there was N64 games were $70 to $90 sometimes. Ocarina of Time was $90 when it came out. I don't know. It happened during PlayStation 5. Those $70 games for the first time, so they kind of started it.
Which also, when PlayStation 5 was being released, and we had a pandemic, we had a world pandemic, and then there became shortages for the internal parts for the consoles, and there was this huge shortage for computer components, for gaming PCs, for console games, or for consoles, I should say. And it was at a time when everybody was home, getting back into gaming. There was a resurgence of video games and streaming on Twitch. So there is this supply and demand market that happens where there's a shortage. The price of games goes up because the price of making the console went up because of, manufacturing costs. And now, to bring it all together too, here in the United States, we're having all these tariff issues. And it's I'm curious if this is going to then affect the prices of games coming out in the future for consoles, for handheld consoles, where it's everything gets exponentially more expensive because to offset the cost of the console, they have to increase the cost of the game, which at some point I feel has diminishing returns as a consumer, as a player. How much would you pay to get the straight to the vein nostalgia injection for a Nintendo IP? There's got to be a ceiling,
And there is. And I mean, I was more on your side if I wasn't...
$2 million.
Well, I mean, and I've held on to the PlayStation 5 for this long.
Me too, brother, still. Yeah. I'm about to get one, though.
Well, that's the thing.
I'm thinking about it.
My PlayStation 4 is really chugging.
You know what got me? I digress from Nintendo for a second. I went to show my partner Cyberpunk because I was I think you'd actually really like it. He wasn't too into Skyrim, too high fantasy. I was I think you'd really like Cyberpunk. It's a little more your speed and sort of sci-fi cool stuff. He was into it. He watched the trailer. I was I actually have it on my PS4 because I bought it when it came out. I haven't really played it because it was super glitchy. I went to pull it up. I was oh, it's in my library. Oh, I guess I got to re-download it. Yeah, whatever. You can't get the game on PS4 anymore because they stopped making updates in 2022.
Well, can't you just like play an older version of it?
It's a broken version, though.
Well,
I mean,
okay, but it doesn't brick it at least, right?
No, it's not bricked, but
so
it's
you get
like,
you get what you bought at the time.
It's such a glitchy. The game came out in like 2021,
right?
So like it was so glitchy, pretty much unplayable.
Yeah.
And then they stopped making updates, and I had this realization where I was like, oh, I'm old. Like my console is old. I have to get the PS5,
right?
Or I'm gonna be left behind.
No, I hear you. It's like when I was a kid. You were pretty modest. We had like one like system, and that would last like 5 years or whatever.
And then you'd get a new household system.
But I'm like, oh my god, I've been rocking my Switch and my PS4 for like 7, 8 years. It just feels like it's been a couple years because I'm old. And like that's all it is.
Well,
it's
and
like,
they've made them better though. They last a little longer, and most of them. Well, no, you think your Switch is on the way out?
Well, I mean, we've had the problems with the drift and the.
Wait, don't even tell me.
You have your screen
My
issues.
My OG Switch has the screen bleed, which I still haven't fixed.
People have their problems. It's not like the Xbox 360, but like people have their
rings of death.
People have their problems with the Switch's, you know,
but
hardware.
Do you think now? Yeah. Do you think right now, people in your position, like a lover of Nintendo, are hyped on what they're offering with the Nintendo Switch 2?
I do think that there's a market for it, where I think it's going to fly off the shelf similar to Switch 1.
And I should say the Switch, $500 price point.
$450, I believe, right?
Is it $450?
It's $450 with Mario Kart World and $400 without, but
I thought it was $499 just base.
This was all before the tariff.
So it might be more.
Yeah, which is still a lot for a Nintendo console, especially because the Switch, when it came out, I believe was $300, and then the Wii was $250. GameCube was like cheap as shit when it came out.
I would say Nintendo is still significantly less expensive with their consoles.
They used to make their consoles like the price of a game and a half, basically.
Really?
Yeah, like the NES was like $80-$90, and then like a Mario Brothers was $50-$60, you know, and Super Nintendo similar, and they would be like $99 or even like $79, and it came with Mario World. Like, that was kind of how they sold those, even up to the GameCube.
I gotta think too who the Switch is marketing to. Us for nostalgia, an older audience who grew up
me in particular
with N64. They have your name on a list.
Yeah,
but also the Switch comes across as almost like the modern kid's Game Boy. It's handheld, it's round, it's bubbly, it's much more accessible to a parent than, say, like a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox. And especially at that price point, I think if you're looking at like holidays, a big birthday present or something, and your kid likes video games, you might just get them the Switch because of those factors.
Did your family go on a lot of like road trips?
No, that's not true. We would drive
a lot,
Florida and Virginia for like vacations, I guess.
Yeah, well, then you kind of know that. And we had like a very modest cabin. I grew up in northern Minnesota, you know. Oh, geez. It gets real cold up there.
No.
So we would have these long old car rides every weekend, you know, and it was about 3 hours in the car.
The family.
Oh, yeah. But for sure, it was like handheld gaming was huge. Like that was like my brother had a Game Boy Color, and then my first like conscious Christmas, like I got a Game Boy Advance, and it was a really big deal.
It's a beautiful saying. My first conscious Christmas.
I mean, the one remember I can remember, like the most clearly. I think I was 7. And then my brother was mad because he had like worked hard for his Game Boy Color, which like totally valid, but I was the younger brother. Anyway, I saved up my own personal like big first purchase because my brother bought the GameCube with his like work money and allowance. I was 12. I got a Nintendo DS, an original Nintendo DS in 2000. No, I was 10 because that was 2004.
DS.
Yeah, or maybe maybe it was like a year later. Anyway, I got Mario Kart DS because like Mario Kart DS was amazing, and that's a perfect kind of like with your console thing. I've fallen a little off of Mario Kart since. I'm not a Mario Kart 8 player personally. So for me, the launch title being Mario Kart World, not enough for me as a system seller. I'm probably going to wait for Donkey Kong, especially because Metroid Prime 4, which is what I'm really the most excited about, is, as thankfully, which we were kind of predicting, is also a Switch, is going to be released on Switch 1, which, unless the performance is garbage, which that'll annoy me. I'm going to wait probably till the Donkey Kong game, which I believe is like August or, end of the summer, early fall.
Soon.
Yeah. Oh man, that is coming up.
That's soon, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It might be November or something, but that to me is like the system seller and honestly,
So
I was kind of hoping for it to be like a new 3D Mario with
Yeah,
launch, because that's how the trailer was kind of putting it. But it plays like an amazing 3D Mario. I'm still just as hyped for it.
And this is interesting coming from you because still you are thinking you might just buy the Switch 2 without ever buying the PlayStation 5 still or any other console.
We were talking about this,
Yeah.
and I'm sorry that I kind of went off on it. But we're both, I think, due for a new console, especially a console of this generation.
We're due.
Especially like hosting a video game podcast. Like, I'll be honest, I probably should have, one of the modern.
write-off.
And that, just saying.
That's for research.
Yeah. So
but
I think
really,
one or
yes.
the other, and honestly, and I do want to have some credibility, and I am a Nintendo fan, and it's like I don't want to miss any kind of landmark Nintendo title, especially a 3D platformer or something like. This new Donkey Kong might be a big deal, and it's like I'm an adult. Like, I want to do something nice for 10-year-old me. I have the adult money. I'm not doing well, but I'm doing okay. I'm not doing bad.
I'm not doing well.
I'm fine, Mom.
Mentally.
I'm fine. Yeah, but like I can afford it.
Yeah.
It's a hit. Like,
I think
maybe
again,
I won't go out to eat like a couple times that month, but like what am I doing with myself where like this new shiny toy that I would adore as a 10-year-old.
And you'll still have all your games.
Yeah. And the last point I want to make, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I think the reason why the Switch is ultimately so successful compared to like the Wii U or something is like I was saying, like Game Boy in the car during a car trip. Like we had that. And then I had the Nintendo DS. And like handheld gaming since the Game Boy has been a huge deal for every generation of children. The Switch really was the first to truly combine it. PS Vita tried to like have a link with the PlayStation and Nintendo 3DS with like the Wii U, but it didn't quite work. Switch was truly on the go and at home, and that is just brilliant, especially for kids who are in the car a lot. Like,
and that design
it's a big deal. Yeah.
was brilliant. I don't fault them for not changing the design of the console for the Switch 2, because if it's not broken, don't fix it. And I think we've learned that over the years with handheld consoles who are like, we're reinventing the hand, and it's like, this was good, you don't have to. And really the Switch OG walked so that the Steam Deck could run, because the Steam Deck took the same design concept.
True, yes.
The side, not even removable Joy-Cons, but the side cons with the big OLED screen. So like, I think it's fine, that they're keeping what works for the Switch 2, and they're making some upgrades that I think the main demographic of people who play the Switch would like, and then would continue to want to buy, from them.
100%. I think, and honestly, Nintendo just kind of looked around at the world and saw all these iPad kids, which, no offense to any Gen Zs that are offended by that term. Truly, I don't mean any offense by that, but like, yeah, I think that's like why the Switch works so well. It's like you combine the video game console perfect for the iPad kid generation.
Yeah.
And it works.
And
it's a good idea. I've seen a lot of those people with the Switches with the throw proof where like a kid can throw it.
The rubber.
They have the iPads wrapped in. Like, it makes sense. And I play a Switch, so like I'm old man, and I'm playing it too. So
I'm a
like,
big baby.
Yeah.
And again, don't want to yuck anybody's yum. I feel like when we previously talked about it, we were pretty negative. I wanted to bring some lightness to this discussion, but just talk realistically about the things that matter, aka the price points.
It's a little high.
And the game exclusives and releases.
It's high for Nintendo.
Yeah.
For them to jump to the $80 stuff, and I know there's some precedent for it with like other big titles, but it's a little strange, especially with like a launch title, which they're trying to incentivize you buying. Like, it's just a weird precedent, especially because this is way more expensive than any other console they've ever. Which money inflates, I get that.
Right.
If you adjust for inflation, it's probably comparable to some other stuff.
The little devil on my shoulder is like, okay, let's see what the first big issues with the Switch 2 are. I'm a little bit like, okay, let's see how much you've improved. Maybe you did.
Yeah.
Maybe it is just creme de la creme, and we're going to look back on this in 10 years and be like, oh, they nailed it.
Well, and one thing we talked about too previously, and I'm curious what you think of this, is I was kind of making fun of how there was no real, you revolutionized this, that, and the other as Nintendo. And then Switch 2, where's like the hook? What's the crazy thing that's blown my mind that smart people at Nintendo can think of that I didn't? What's the gimmick, And it's this. It's a mouse. And their C button, the way they connect with like gaming, it's again like it's a headset. Xbox Live Party. We don't want to relive those days, first of all, but like that is more efficient than no one wants to be on camera.
Yeah.
And some people do, but like it's a whole thing, and there's still like, oh, you still have to be friends with, I don't know, their whole online like C button being like, oh, I want to talk to people constantly while I'm gaming.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to do that.
And I mean, it's hard because coming from like computer PC gaming,
Yeah.
You need like Discord, like you need an outside source.
It's trying to replace Discord.
Right, which I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you need to do
It's
that.
not. It's more limited than Discord. So
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I struggle with this too, just gaming with friends, where it's like some people are on console, some people are on PC, some people are on a Steam Deck, and it's like,
Right.
let's all get on Discord. So people are like on their phone on
is why it
Discord,
works, yeah.
headphone plugged in. So there's no good solution. I see what they're trying to do. I don't fault them for and they're trying to lock in that IP. They want it to be all Nintendo. They don't
Yeah.
want you to go anywhere else.
They want to create a little cult of the Nintendo people socializing with Nintendo. And
through Nintendo's chat,
Right.
like they don't want you to go on
Well,
Discord.
and they've had complaints too about the approach to their online chat and community.
I remember
and
trying
how
to use it with Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
fucking
So they've
terrible.
been fighting that, and it's still they always have these half measures that are kind of
Yeah.
like, but it's basically a Google Meets or Skype call with like you and 3 friends, like.
Oh god, them saying the word
Gee fucking
Skype.
whiz.
It's like after Zoom put them out of business,
Oh, boy,
baby.
yeah.
After they fell
Well,
off the map.
that was my
No,
Freudian
but-
slip, I guess.
but no.
Freudian- okay.
I think we've
Well, one last thing
Okay,
I want to ask you about.
one
Come on,
last
this is a big deal to switch to. Like we're gonna.
I'm over it.
We're wet on content right
We're-
now with
my
the Switch 2 release.
My teeth are wet. Go on.
We're wet on content instead of drying with content.
Yeah.
This is the big old like hook for the Switch 2, right? You can put the Switch 2 Joy-Con on its side and use it as a mouse. And that's cool. And like they tried that with the Super Nintendo way back when with Mario
I
Paint.
don't think it's cool. Is
Go
that what you're
on.
gonna ask me?
Well, yeah, I'm curious what you think because
I don't
I'm
think
torn
it's-
on it. I'm torn on it.
I feel like it's innovation for innovation's sake type of
Yeah.
thing where they're like, and we've done something crazy, something
Right.
none of you would have expected from a handheld console. And I'm like, yeah, because then you're just on a computer.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, Nintendo?
And that's kind of the thing. It's like you literally had gaming with like you created like some sci-fi fucking Star Trek shit 50 years like motion control video games 15 years ago. No, more than that. Oh my god. The Wii came out 20 years ago. That's ridiculous. But like that
Oh my
was
God.
19 years ago, which is crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, but you reinvented 3D gaming and all
Yeah.
this, and now you're like the new, and then like a tablet game, and then like the Switch, which is like ultimately diverse, and now it's a mouse, and it's like, okay, I'm sure it's a really good mouse and it's gonna work really well with these games, but it's also a thin little Joy-Con.
Right.
That you then need a flat surface, which, as we all know, living in New York, sometimes those don't exist.
Yeah,
and
right,
then like
on your lap.
and that's not gonna work. Like no.
I think it's cool that the Switch, the original Switch, you had the option to play it as a console game and plug it into your dock.
and that was their gimmick. And it was
And
a good gimmick.
Take it on the go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Like,
I'm a gimmicky boy. So
No,
like,
no,
I don't mean that
it's
as a
not
bad
even a
thing.
gimmick. It's just good design.
I mean gimmick in a good way.
this is
Yeah.
gimmick in a way where it's like, who's doing that? And for what game could you possibly be wanting to, where you're like,
Well,
I don't
mouse
want to
and,
do what?
I mean, a lot. Any PC gamer will tell you why
But
a mouse and
exactly.
keyboard
But
is
that's
more.
why you play PC games. I'm like, no
Yeah.
one goes on their Switch to be like, I want to play PUBG. Like what?
Some people do. Not me,
Maybe
but some people do.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
just, to me, it feels like I'm not sure what crowd sourcing they did where they got the response that was like, and make it a mouse. Yeah.
But ultimately, they're playing it safe in a way because it's like, what can you creatively do?
Where no one's
while,
gonna get mad.
while still being the Switch,
Yeah.
too. It's like, we can take the design and put an infrared thing and make it a mouse. Like, great, we got
Yeah.
it. And then make it a little bigger. But I don't know. I'd say this all the time. I'm not smart. Like, I don't work for Nintendo for a reason. They don't want me. I'm trespassed. So, like, what would you have in mind as like a quirky, new gen kind of crazy idea for Nintendo to really kind of tap into?
You know, I think where Nintendo excels, they do have good gimmicky things. There are things like, I mean, this is such an offshoot, but like Pokemon Go.
Oh yeah.
was such a crazy explosion. Yeah, game changer. I think there's something to be said about how accessible Nintendo is and how adaptable they are. But I think they're trying now to prove themselves as like, but remember Nintendo 64? That's also us. And now we have IPs that are like PC IPs. So like that's also us. Here's what I would imagine. Something like the Switch, and a handheld on the go gaming system. That's small enough that it works. And then similarly to what they have now, like the dock where you can make it into a console, but perhaps the dock itself is part of a actual like physical console, like a bigger console that has more power, more gaming capabilities. So like when you play on your console, just everything is magnified. You know, specs are magnified, smoothness.
Well, you don't want to clear. You don't want to clear your hard drive there.
What do you mean?
Oh, I thought you said magnetized.
No,
I'm sorry.
don't put magnets on it. Don't do that.
Yeah, my bad.
I put a magnet on my laptop once when I was a teen. I killed my laptop.
Oh,
Don't do it. It's very scary. But then maybe perhaps there's like a special port type of thing where you can then put your Switch to a PC. You can it like a transformer. Like you'd able to click it into different things that allow it to actually be functional as that thing rather than the Switch becoming like, now it's a mouse. Now it's this. It's like, why not put it into something that will back it up with the power and specs where you can run bigger games on it? I don't know. I'm trying to think of what that would look like.
That's not a bad idea.
I don't know
but
if
I disagree.
Okay. Fine. You asked me on the spot.
I did.
I don't know what.
And I had time to think it.
I don't know what.
Answer.
And you heard my stupid idea. I don't know what Nintendo's like next thing should be.
Well, yeah,
maybe they should take a break.
Ooh, I just don't think they can compete with the pockets of Microsoft and Sony as far as taking a loss to make this big powerful system at a loss, and then like they just don't. They can't. They're gonna get buried.
They're getting married? Congrats.
That'd be cute, right? Well, Microsoft and Nintendo have some rumors of a little affair going on there. But anyway, I feel that not to be like, hey, stay in your lane. Society needs to remain as it is, and everything's perfect, and fuck you, little guy. Like, not that, but also that a little bit. But also, like, Nintendo is amazing at executing those gimmicks, frankly. It's like the Wii had motion controls and it was basically a souped up GameCube, like so much weaker than the PlayStation 3. And then the PlayStation 3 though had the Move and like Microsoft Connect, and it's like those were very state of the art, and yet it wasn't as good as the motion control that like Nintendo was able to kind of gimmick and make and yada yada. The Wii U was like really good for tablet gaming at the time. 3DS had the 3D without glasses, which I still don't understand how the fuck that works. That's some like next stage level shit. So what's the one thing that's the most gimmicky thing that Nintendo really hasn't experimented with?
VR.
Yes.
I should have
Other
said
than
that.
Labo.
We talked about this.
I know you had your little treehouse, little Labo glasses thing.
Oh my
that's
God.
like I know Nintendo kind of did their, but they didn't really try 3D.
Okay, wait.
And like a little cardboard. No, that doesn't count.
Idea.
Yeah.
Nintendo VR. Nintendogs VR, where you get to enter. Like, you know, you had Nintendogs, right?
No.
No, you never did? You would, like, come into your home, which you never explored. It wasn't, like, a simulation game, but your dogs would come, like, running toward you on, like, a wooden floor, and you would somewhat see, like, what the house is. But most of it was just you were in a room with the dogs, and then you'd go on a walk or something.
Yeah.
VR Nintendogs where you can, like, fully go in the home, you go in the cabinet, you get out the dog food, you know, you're, like, pouring them dog food. Take them on a walk in your VR neighborhood. They try to eat chicken bones. You're like, stop that. Don't do that. I don't know. I think there is room for VR in the Nintendo world that would be so gimmicky.
But you're okay. I hear it's not for me. And again, I'm not trying to like tease anyone.
It's just the first thing that came to my mind.
No, everyone loves Nintendogs, and like I missed out because first of all I had ADHD undiagnosed, and like I couldn't even play The Sims as we've talked about. Like I didn't have the attention span, and Animal Crossing I never really got into either because I just didn't have the patience for it.
All simulation games makes sense. You're like,
so,
I can't even do this myself.
I really couldn't. So like. I was like 11 when Nintendogs came out, 11, 12, where I was a dorky kid, but like I was like, oh, I can't. I can't play that. That's not a cool
Just for
game. That's for
losers.
little kids.
It wasn't a cool game.
And girls. It's a
I
girl
played
game.
it a lot.
Yeah, that was my own problem. I've heard great things, but anyway, that's a personal problem. Yes, and like just a Zelda game in VR would be terrifying. Or
Yeah,
obviously,
so fun.
Yeah, you don't want to be Mario and doing a triple flip and like, that'd be awful. But I think Nintendo again.
What about a Mario Kart?
They haven't really explored VR. They've done it a little bit, but they haven't really explored VR. 3D they did better than anyone.
Yeah.
AR they did. I mean, Pokemon Go.
That's
which
what I'm saying.
I know that's more the Pokemon company is a little separate than like Nintendo, but
still.
Yeah, it's like Pixar Disney at this point.
They could.
And I could be wrong.
They could work together.
Yes.
Use each other's technology and technological advances. AR,
Yeah.
I mean, so close to VR, like
Right.
2 steps away.
And it's like, I think Nintendo. There's certain things like remember that Super Mario Dash game on mobile. I was thinking about the other day.
No.
Yeah, it came in like 2017. It was like a big deal.
It was good?
It's very, very good, but a lot of people didn't play it because it was basically you get the first like 2 worlds for free, and then it was like, oh, it's $9.99 for the whole game, and the whole game is honestly, arguably one of the best designed, like tightest mobile games ever.
I wouldn't buy it.
Their approach was poor, and they were trying to do it where it was
$9.99.
Well,
Try
listen.
$4.99.
I agree with you, but the thing was, they were like, you get the whole game. Yeah, there's no like microtransactions.
Right,
they were trying because honestly, like. Believe me, I know about the freemium model, and I know how it can be incredibly predatory, which sucks. We've talked about this a lot, and so then they came out with the Mario Kart mobile game, and guess what? It's free, but guess what? They charge you up the ass for microtransactions, and there's kids that have spent, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on this.
Think about it.
Yeah. So, so again, Nintendo is good at reinventing the wheel, but Mario Dash didn't sell very well.
Yeah.
And I think they're playing it a little safer with the Switch 2, where it's just, again, calling it the Switch 2 just says everything you need to know about it. Like they're playing it fucking safe with this.
And they could have gone. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Now that this is being released this year, I would give it another 4-5 years.
Oh boy.
Before they would take a leap as big as VR.
Do you think that they would possibly even go like some kind of experimental route where
I hope so.
Because they used to have it where they had their handhelds and they had their consoles.
Right.
And their handhelds were like the 3DS, the Wii U was a fucking failure. 3DS was
massively
incredibly popular system, and Nintendo DS was incredible. So that kind of kept them afloat to get them to the Switch.
Right.
They kind of have some room with R&D to like branch another path now that their handhelds and consoles have kind of converged.
Yeah.
So
if they've already checked off those boxes,
maybe do a little VR project. I mean, they tried that before with the Virtual Boy. Actually, we've had this happen literally 30 years ago. Now I'm thinking about this.
30 years ago, we've grown. Imagine what the headsets. You already know the headsets would be so cute, comfortable.
Yeah.
They would make them so well. They would have different snap-on like Mario Tanuki ears. A Kirby, like Kirby's eating your head on the headset. This is free fucking TM.
Hey.
You know what, Nintendo, call me. I'm not giving you any more free shit.
I do think it's funny, though, that we had this whole conversation of like, yeah, Nintendo should do VR, and not once did I remember the Virtual Boy and how they tried this before and it failed.
It was 30 years ago.
It was 1995.
We weren't there.
Yeah, and you know what they'd call this new one? Not the Virtual Boy.
Virtual Girl.
Nice.
Is that it?
Yeah, actually, you beat me kind of to it. I thought you were going to say Virtual Man.
Oh.
And then I was going to correct you and say Virtual Woman. Because as a man, like, I wanted to be, like...
Progressive.
I wanted to, like, a white knight and mansplain it.
Virtual for everyone. It would be like Nintendo Virtual for all.
No. Virtual You.
Virtual You.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're getting into, like, creepy... Virtual You. Yeah. Imagine. All right. I think we've thoroughly beat that horse.
Last question. Last
keep
question.
Saying last question.
Okay. No, but really, because
this is the whole episode.
We're upgrading our
Keep saying we're upgrading.
We're upgrading our consoles.
We say that.
We can split this tomorrow if we need to. We're upgrading our consoles. We've agreed, right? We've made a blood oath that we're going to upgrade our consoles. What are you going to go for? Switch 2 or PS5?
You already know.
Black and yellow. What is it?
I'm going for PS5.
Oh, okay.
Because here's the thing. Switch 2, I still have my Switch.
Yeah.
I'm not enticed with the new games, the bundles. I'd be happy playing some Animal Crossing.
But the PlayStation 5 has so many exclusives that you need to just jump on that.
The things I've missed out on PS5 are, the list is growing. Like, I still haven't played Spider-Man. You know, there are games that I really, really want to play.
Spider-Man 2?
All of them. I mean, the Spider-Man, is it 1 and 2? The first one's in Brooklyn, the second one's in Queens?
Well, I mean, there's Spider-Man and then Miles Morales.
Miles Morales is
Both
in
of them
Queens.
are in PS4, though. On PS4. Miles Morales lives in Harlem.
But I think the map is like, one is you can go through Brooklyn and one is you can go more through Queens. I don't know. I don't remember. I know one is one. Anyway, yes, Miles Morales. And I know it's on PS4, but like, I want to play it on the better one with the better graphics, with the better, smoother engines.
Yeah.
I want to.
And I respect that.
Don't look at me like
that.
that.
I'm sorry.
And what about my beloved Cyberpunk?
I don't disagree.
What about my beloved Cyberpunk?
Well, but again, they came out on the previous console. I don't blame you at all, and I want to get a PS5, and I've almost bought a PS5 multiple times in the last month. I get it. I am a hypocrite. It's just, but there are no games. There's like the Ratchet and Clank game. There's Astrobot. Those are the ones that I'm interested in.
Tomb Raider.
There's Demon's Souls, which is a remake of a game that's 20 years old. I haven't played a Tomb Raider game since Tomb Raider 2, where I was fighting T-Rexes. I haven't played Soul Calibur since Soul Calibur 2, which is going to be on the GameCube release. Tekken 3 is when the series peaked, and I still have a PS1.
Wow. I haven't played Tekken since, like, Tekken Tag.
Also, those are not exclusives for the PS5.
I'm just naming games that I can't wait to play on my PS5 that I'm definitely going to get.
Yeah. And again,
if anyone's giving away a PS5, call ESR and let them know Sydney wants it.
I wish there was some kind of game to make me really want to get the PS. Because until then, like, Donkey Kong, I'm sorry, the big lovable fuckface is going to win me over. I'm sorry.
Until then, I keep playing on my PC. I think that's the big difference. I play on PC for the majority of my games right now. I stream on Twitch. Sydney Gale on Twitch. Come watch me. But
That's where I play my boomer shooters, so I get it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a time and a place. Like, all of the games I play on my PC, I'm happy to play mouse and keyboard. I don't even plug in my PlayStation controller. I've just become accustomed to the mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, UFO 50 is still my game of the year last year.
I know, exactly. But again, I didn't want to yuck anybody's yum. I feel like we did a good job delegating just the more facts than emotionally based thoughts on this Nintendo Switch 2.
I'm torn. I'm like, I'm frustrated, but also like, I kind of want to get it.
Curious how folks feel. Let us know on the gram and the TikTok if there's ever a clip from this episode.
Last question. So
here he goes again.
We talked about the whole Mario Kart being because really for the first time, truly, it's going to be a launch title for a Nintendo console. Mario Kart.
True?
Yeah, okay. Mario Kart 64 came out like within the first year. Super Mario Kart, I think like early 91, 92, but like after. GameCube Double Dash didn't come out for a couple of years, I don't think. I remember when Mario Kart Wii came out, that was a couple of years. Maybe Mario Kart 7 or 8 when the Wii, I don't think so for the Switch, but maybe for the Wii U. But then that was a remake for like the Switch anyway originally.
Do you feel like this is like a big deal then?
It's something that makes sense, but it's never really been relied on as like the system seller, like a Mario game, or even like Super Smash Brothers to an extent with Melee, even though that came out a couple weeks after launch. So I want to know, you as a non-Nintendo individual, Mario Kart.
Don't talk to me like that.
But like truly, like I'm brainwashed, so like I lack the perspective.
Tell me.
Yeah. So like, what is your view on Mario Kart? I bought a system as a 12-year-old based on Mario Kart DS.
Yeah.
Is it something that you are like pumped about? I mean, I'm sure you've had your couch memories on Mario Kart, or are you kind of like, I don't give a fuck because this is the 9th fucking Mario Kart?
I think I lean toward the latter.
Okay.
I don't want to yuck people's yums.
Yeah.
My nostalgia for Mario Kart, same with like Sonic. One neighbor had a Sega, one neighbor had a Nintendo. And when I went to the Sega neighbor's house, we would play Sonic together. And when I went to my other neighbor's house, we would play Mario Party and Mario Kart. So my memory is that it's a party game. It's a party game that you play with your friends. And it's like a casual game.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel that way about Smash as well. It's a casual game that you kind of sit on a couch and play with somebody and have fun. But like, to me, somebody who grew up with sort of more RPGs, like the Tomb Raiders, Crash Bandicoot, it's not an RPG, but just a game where you're leveling up, you're sort of doing things to progress the storyline.
Action RPG. Adventure game like Zelda is kind of my version of that.
Yeah, a Zelda would be different.
Yeah.
So like for a Mario Kart to be the exclusive title bundled with it, I'm just like, oh, so I buy the Switch 2 and I get Mario Kart, and then I guess I'll have people over to play it, because I'm not going to play it alone on my couch, really. So it's sort of like if it was like a Zelda game.
I agree. There's not enough for me.
If a Zelda game was bundled, oh, hell yeah, because you unwrap that new console.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that really helped the Switch. Breath of the Wild was so fucking, even though,
it was such a good game. Such a good game. But it's like, you get home, you rip open your Switch 2, you pull out Mario Kart.
A game you have 8 versions of already on the shelf.
And you're like, great, now I'm going to play this alone.
The one thing that sets it apart is the new open world thing, which I'm actually very intrigued by. Like, that looks fucking cool.
Intrigued.
But I'm with you. To me, like, that's my positive side. The negative side is this is like having your big console launch with a Madden game or a FIFA game that's been released every fucking year.
It would literally be if,
the last 20 years.
If PS5 was like, and we bundled PS6 with Fall Guys. Right. A new Fall Guys.
Or like the next Call of Duty, which, like, that'll scratch the itch for some people, but it's like, okay, it's Call of Duty Black Ops 8. Like, great.
Even that is, I think, better. To this
I disagree there. Mario Kart is more different than the new Call of Duty.
To me, it's a weird party game to tie into a console drop.
I wouldn't, again, I think it's a good choice. It's not for me. A weird party game to drop in, that's more venomous than I would go, personally.
I said I was going to be nice.
I'm vilifying you a little bit.
Look what you've made me do.
I am. It's my fault. I'm an asshole.
I learned it from watching you.
I do drugs.
Let us know, though, how you guys feel. I feel like we've been pretty harsh on it, but I am definitely going to watch gameplay of the new Mario Kart. I'm gonna check out.
It looks good.
I'm gonna check it out. I want to hear from my friends if they get the Switch too. If you get the Switch too, keep me posted.
August, or whenever Donkey Kong.
If I get the PS5, I'll be talking about it. But
we'll be bragging about it.
We simply have to move on because we have Jasirii coming in.
Wait, are you just serious?
Yeah, we should say that to him when he comes in.
We shouldn't.
I'm sure he gets that all the time.
Horribly insulting.
Love that.
No, I want him to watch this months later and then want to punch me in the face.
Did they say that?
This fucking asshole.
But Jasiri's really cool. Yeah. He is like an anime expert, enthusiast, cosplayer. I can't wait to talk about cons with him, as well as like a visual creator, content creator. So I'm sure we will have plenty to discuss. Yeah. And maybe we'll ask him his opinions on the Switch too. Ooh. So stick around.
Cons, capers, robberies. Like, ooh, we can talk to him about embezzlements, so many things. I'm excited.
Many things.
Hello, everybody. We're back.
And we have a guest. We said it at the top of the episode. We've got Jasirii with us. And I said you were a anime kind of expert, enthusiast, a cosplayer, a visuals and content creator. But we love to have our guests sort of introduce themselves in their own words. Please say hello to everybody at home.
Like, hey, I'm Keisuke Urahara, the 12th captain that was kicked out of the Soul Society.
Oh, no.
What happened? Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. So, you see, there's a dude named Aizen, right? He just framed me for, like, doing all these hollow experiments. Those are, like, the half-demons. So, and then, just because I do experiments, they blame me for it.
How dare they?
So, I had to run away.
And for those of you that don't know, because obviously we know.
I don't know. I'm the resident anime idiot
Who
here.
are you cosplaying as today, and from what anime?
So the anime is Bleach and Keisuke Urahara.
Heck yeah. Those who know, and those who don't, Marcus.
That's me. No, I check my ignorance at the door. It's like I'm movies, video games, we cross over on that. You're more the anime expert of the duo.
Yeah,
so,
Jasirii, I was super pumped. Whenever we have like an anime enthusiast, a cosplayer, I just want Rex. I'm like, what are you watching right now? What's good? What are you reading? We'll get to that. But first, I wanted to say, amazing cosplay. You look great. Did you wear that on the subway here?
I actually drove.
You drove?
Dang. Had my hat on and everything.
Rare in New York, but much safer for when you're cosplaying. You feel a little bit.
When I do have a crazy gig, especially if there's one with like an injury involved where they like make me up.
Acting gig? Yeah.
Yeah, and I will go out of my way to take the subway back. And nobody
and just like touch your head every so often.
seriously
Like,
no, and nobody ever and nobody no in New York nobody will stop
no
you
one
to like
cares.
check and care.
I've ridden the subway. Are you from New York?
Yup.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Me same. I've ridden the subway to Comic-Con from like deep Queens all the way to the west side of Manhattan in full like anime girl cosplay. Never have I felt more brave in my entire life, but also my ego was so humble.
You want a little you want like a little attention for it,
But-
and then
but
like
no
New
one
Yorkers don't
cares.
give a
Give me a
fuck.
high five.
Yeah.
No one,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
one cares though. Like
Yeah.
everyone sees you, they clock you, and then they're like, "All right," and then they just like move on with the day.
It's like with the Eric Andre sketch where he's like walking through Wall Street, being like,
oh yeah,
like he fell from a parachute,
Yeah, yeah,
and
he's just like,
he's like,
"Oh,
help me, and
help me."
nobody cares at all until one person's like, okay, let me call you an ambulance.
yeah.
Anyway, but
what's,
that's how I
what's
feel.
the craziest fit that you did at like a con that was like? Because sometimes people have heavy stuff on, like it's just all day, you're sweating. Did you ever do anything all out where you're like, I regret it?
Not one regret ever.
Okay,
Not
fair.
one
Ooh,
ever.
I like
Never
that.
a regret. Love it.
Bold, yeah.
But probably the hottest was my Spider-Man with the Captain America shield.
Ooh, because it was a full
It was
onesie.
a full onesie.
Was the head
And
attached, or could you take the head off, like the mask?
I could take the head off, but it was like, this is the time where I first started, so I had nobody with me. I just went to the cons by myself, and I was like, I'm gonna pull it off. I can do it. I was hot.
And with the I've worn a Spider-Man suit as well. You don't have your hands, like no finger access, so you want to get your phone out, and you're just like, oh fuck. You gotta like take your arm out of the suit. It's just going to the bathroom. It's a whole thing. It's those who have done the one suit before, you get it.
Right,
So
right.
that was like your first one.
Yep,
That was
my
the first ever
one.
cosplay.
My first ever cosplay was Killua from Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, nice.
And
oh,
it was like the
fun.
closet one. I was like, yeah, I got the 99. I got the little skateboard. I got the lollipop. I'm doing this.
Where'd you go?
Ironically, it was the first Anime NYC.
Heck
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Wow.
That's-
Remember Anime NYC?
I
it
do.
was so small when it started. Now it's huge.
What
I mean,
year
it's
was that? Do we?
20
2021?
Oh, okay.
was it? Yeah, it must have
Yeah,
been because it was
2021,
after
right after COVID.
After
Crazy.
COVID.
It really blew up then because I was,
It's
kind
huge
of
now.
working in the kind of the convention stuff. I was like on
It
Netflix
was-
at the time, and I'm Anime NYC. I was like, oh, this is a huge thing. It's almost as big as Comic-Con. And that was like 2022.
No.
and I didn't realize it was like that.
2021, it was like in one building. It was like an
Interesting.
offshoot. It was like, oh no, like what? But they needed
But
to
that
do
shows
it.
the hunger
But they
for
also
anime
they
because
needed
it's blown up.
They needed to separate it more so from Comic-Con because Comic-Con
Yeah.
now encapsulates way too much stuff. I mean, it's
Sure.
so big now. It's so crowded. I love going, but it's like it's a lot.
It's-
So
yeah.
if you want to get your anime fix, now you can do that kind of like separately.
And honestly, as an outsider, as someone who's like, film and video game first, but I love comics, I love anime, like I love all that, and Comic-Con and Anime NYC has a lot of that, which like usually converges with what I'm into. But it's still not quite like I'm not a cosplayer, I'm not an anime person, which first of all, like the fact that your first kind of cosplay event was Anime NYC is like
Awesome.
it feels very bold to me. So I'm curious kind of when you kind of committed to cosplay and then choosing that kind of event, I guess is kind of my question. But then beyond that, it's
Because going is one thing. A lot of people
Yeah,
go, but they're
yeah.
always like, "Oh, I would never cosplay." Like it's just not even a thought. They're like, "No, no, that's so not me." What
Right.
made you want to start cosplaying?
So long story short, my big brother, shouts to Kilowatt's Fit, he was the one that was like, yo, you should cosplay. And I kept on bringing up the ideas to him because he was like, yeah, you should start doing this. You should start doing this. I was like, no, this is your thing. You have the TikTok. You have the Instagram. You keep on doing it. So I'm giving you the ideas. And he was like, you do it now. And literally to my face. And I was like, oh, okay. I will, because you challenged me. I love challenges.
yeah.
It's a challenge, but it's also like, oh, the big sibling like pass the torch. They're like, no, it's your turn.
yeah.
That's so sweet. So he also introduce you to anime as a whole? Did you grow up together watching anime?
Well, we grew up in separate households, but he kind of like pushed it onto me because I brought about it in school. And then when I brought it up, he was like, yeah, I love anime too. And I was like, since when?
Say more. Yeah, wait,
Since
yeah.
when?
Since when? Me first. What were you watching growing up? What was an anime that stuck with you where you were like, oh yeah, and it kind of made you want to watch more anime?
Gundam Wing. Gundam Wing was one of the first.
Okay.
Did you ever build any Gundam? Do you have a Gundam at home?
Yes, I have a
What do you
couple.
got?
All right, so
How many do you have? And how tall are they?
I have like 12. The tallest one I have is Zero Wing.
Okay.
Like, I said Zero Wing. Gundam Wing.
Okay.
But Heroes Gundam with the actual wings. That's my favorite one.
How big is
But-
that?
Like, from the table to this tall.
Okay, that's pretty tall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
I was like, yeah, I need it. And I got it outside of the state. I was down in Florida.
Oh, I thought you were like, I purposefully drove to like Pennsylvania to go buy it. So you just saw it in Florida and you were
Yeah.
like, I need it.
So I was still a kid and my grandmother brought me down. So when I said, hey, I want this, she was like, do you really need it? Because you know
really
when
need
you're at that
this
age, it's like,
robot toy?
why do you, exactly.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
don't get it.
No, but out of the kindness of our heart, I love her. Love you, Mari Cheryl. She was like, I'm going to get it for you. I ain't getting nothing else for the year, but I love it.
Hey.
I loved it.
And you still have it.
I still have it.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that is so. Again, it's like Anime NYC and Comic-Con because it's not the San Diego Comic-Con. They almost at this point, just like a few years later, it feels like it's on like the same level to
For
me
sure.
at least. As an outsider, is
Did
kinda what I was
you
trying to say.
go this past year to Anime NYC?
Yep,
Yeah. Did you cosplay?
I definitely did.
What'd you
yeah.
do?
So I cosplayed that awkward moment when you gotta go back to Instagram.
Yeah, you're like, I've
It's
done so many cosplays.
But like it was
I
basically
have.
your first Anime NYC, and then you were. I mean,
And then
it
you just
seems like you were kind of
became-
hooked, and it was just like since then it's been you don't want to miss one. Is that kind of where it's at, or?
Yeah, because it's like, so I pretty much claim the mantle of King of New York. And whatever.
Dang.
It's been claimed before, but this is for the first time I believe it. So yeah,
Dang.
tell us more. Yeah.
You hear that, cosplay community? Watch out.
Listen, I'm here. But so whenever I go to like the after parties, like the LAN parties, they pretty much have like a big lock on the anime community when it comes to like, all right, cool, we're gonna make this nerdy space and then we're gonna make it fun nerdy space, but we're also gonna have popping music
Yeah.
fun space now, and everybody's invited and included.
That's where the nerd community shines because
Yeah.
they embrace nerd culture. They embrace the nerds.
Right.
They want the nerds, but then they know that like the nerds of the 1980s, 1990s are not the nerds of the 2000s.
Right.
Exactly.
We're cool. We want to party. We like good music, and we want to hang out with our friends at cool after parties from cool cons. So those parties are like super dope. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As someone who's worked and just hung out at several of these conventions over the last few years and never been invited to like any of these after parties, like what would a young man do to like maybe get like one of these invites? I'm just curious, like just asking for a friend,
Okay, well,
my friend who like couldn't get into an invite in these parties.
Yeah, my hypothetical friend.
Yeah.
He goes
the
to a different
hypothetical-
school.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So-
Yeah.
But he asked me to ask
But
you.
like I'm really curious for him.
Okay, so so there's this place, Instagram or TikTok. There's a link, and one is LAN Party. They definitely throw a lot of the after parties for Anime NYC, New York Comic Con. Another one is Shonen Pump. They're more on the Caribbean side, so but they still include everybody too.
Okay.
We love
And
that.
when I say they have it jumping, they definitely have it jumping.
Yeah.
Shonen jump. They
mm-hmm.
have it jumping. Come on.
Pump, my bad. Shonen
No,
Pump.
I know.
But jump in.
But they got it jumping.
Jump in.
Come
See,
on.
I get what you did there. I see what you did there.
Do you know, I'm curious, shout out to my friend Dimitri on Instagram, big cosplayer who lived in New York but now moved West Coast, sad. But he would DJ a lot of those parties. I'm sure you guys have crossed paths. He would do like mashups. He did like the Power Line Goofy. Do you know
Yup,
who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He constantly would be like, I'm DJing this after party, and I was always out of town or something. But it seems like the coolest music, like the best people, the best vibes. And after a day at a con,
Like I'd love to be a part of that.
you want to
That
let
would
loose.
be really great.
Yeah, you want to be a part of it.
I think it would be
You wanna
my
go?
friend, I think,
Your
would
friend
do it.
wants to
Like,
go.
Say like hypothetically, your friend like can't even buy like a loose cigarette in the Queen's Bodega because he's mistaken for an undercover cop.
Ooh.
Do you think that would be like a hindrance at all if they like gave off undercover cop vibes, even though they weren't?
You know what I think
Do you
you
think
gotta
that
do?
would be a hindrance towards an invite towards these? I'm just asking for a friend.
Cosplay.
I was about to say, lean in.
Like, what happened? I am an
Cosplay.
undercover cop. Look at this, a
Yeah.
fake badge.
You could go.
And it'll
you,
work out.
You could go. What's his face from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood?
Ooh,
What's his face?
Roy Mustang.
Roy Mustang.
Right.
Go for Roy Mustang. Just lean in.
Perfect.
Get a
Right.
little military suit on. You could be like, no, this is actually just my look, and they'd be like, all right, come on in, come to Shonen Pump.
Unrelated question, but those Gundam models. Is that what I would say? Yeah,
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
Is that which again? Like I tried when I was a kid, but are those the ones where like you straight up need like the hot glue to like actually like put pieces together, or is it?
No,
kinda-
I
Like
thought
now
that-
you don't even need hot glue.
Okay, I thought you didn't. Yeah.
now you
Yeah.
don't. Because when I was a kid,
You did?
there was a bit of an issue. So like, how have
didn't
you
work.
overcome the temptation to like huff industrial glue as a Gundam enthusiast? And as someone who struggled with that temptation, I'm just curious because
asked me for a
clearly, like,
friend.
I can tell your neurological capabilities are like on point, which I'm jealous of, and I'm curious how you fought kind of that. Temptation, because it really is like it's.
How much glue are
it's
they
like-
giving these
I
child
mean,
Gundam kits?
for
Is there a
some,
lot of-
it's like the Garden of Eden's fruit. Like you just
I
can't.
gotta
you
admit, I
can't.
never built Gundams. I came into anime late in life. I missed the boat. I was too afraid of being a social pariah in like. I know, and I learned that, and I learned that from the anime community, and I thank you now for accepting me back in. But I remember I had friends who were like building Gundams when Samurai Jack was out on like Cartoon Network, and I was just like, I would watch it, but I was like, I can't talk about it in school. I can't. I felt that weird social pressure. But now I think for kids today, like younger kids today, I don't think that really exists anymore. You're not like a loser if you watch anime now or you read manga.
Yeah.
You're kind of cool. It's like a very cool thing. But even when I was a kid, it still felt, it was like teetering on like someone just being like, loser,
Yeah, we were that generation.
We
for
were that
sure,
generation. Just
and-
the edge of
Yeah.
it. Just the edge of it.
And I think it's interesting too.
Story unlocked.
You're I was the younger brother, but my brother was really into anime, and I kind of was like, I would read his Shonen Jumps, and I
Yeah.
would like watch Dragon Ball Z with him, but he was like so much more ahead. Which I think it's interesting because you're similar, but also like you were
doing your own thing. You were like, no, I like anime.
Yeah, and that's like even again, I was almost trying to do my own thing, and you were almost I don't know. Again, it's not to age us too much. I'm already feeling like an old man.
It's a little different though.
It is different now. There was a certain kind of bold step that my brother was able to take that I frankly did not embrace as a kid. I was all into video games and movies, but like
Yeah.
anime, I did not admit that I was really into.
We
Which
didn't have Anime NYC. Like there was nothing you could go to as
It
like
was
a 20-something
Toonami
year
and
old.
Shonen Jump, and,
Yeah.
and
Do
stuff
you-
on the internet.
Do you feel like the community as a whole, toxic internet stuff aside, that stuff is forever, whatever. We can't get rid of it no matter how hard we try. But do you feel like the anime community like really comes together at cons and stuff? I feel like I always see dancing TikToks from the same, like universes and mangas and animes, and everybody seems really nice. Is
Yeah.
that true? From
I
your
would say,
experience?
from my experience, for the most part, yeah. Because from the time that I started, it was literally just me going just to go.
Which is correct. Alone. Like
Alone.
Very
and I
brave.
wound up running into people like, hey, do you want to do this with me? And I was just like, yeah, I'm just starting up a TikTok. Y'all want to do this dance with me? All right, cool. And they were like, yeah, let's do it. And I was just over here like, they said yes. They said yes. All right, let's do it.
Every nerd's dream where you're like, wait, you guys want to hang out? Okay. But so your advice, because I feel like a lot of people who watch, want to get into cosplay or
Yeah.
they really want to go to cons and want to figure out their niche, but are afraid because it's hard to go alone and tickets are expensive and you don't want to go and feel like you wasted, your money and your time. What would be some advice for younger kids trying to cosplay?
For the younger generation, I would say that number one, there's always groups. So like on Facebook, whatever con that you want to go to, there's always going to be a photo group. So when you find that photo group, whether it's Hunter x Hunter or Spider-Man or Black Panther, there will be a group there. So you're like, okay, at this time? All right, cool. So what time do we all need to be there? All right, so 2:00? All right, cool. So where are we meeting? Oh, by the lakefront area? All right, cool. So I'll meet you there. And then when you get there, it's like you meet people that are like-minded. Then they ask the one question. And then you can always catch them with the one question. Who's your favorite character?
Yep.
You hit them with that. Then after that, then you start conversating. And then you start building friendships from there.
Yeah.
And
It's really true. I feel like I've experienced that at cons. You wear whatever cosplay that you want to wear. You wear your favorite character. And I
Yeah.
did Trunks from Dragon Ball Z last year. I never had so many people also dressed
Right.
as Dragon Ball Z characters who came up. They would like dap me up. We would take photos. We would like exchange, Instagram stuff. And I was just like, I feel like I've won prom queen. Like I feel like the most popular girl at the party. And it was really cool. And it was
Yeah.
just like, it was very genuine too. It's a fan base that I feel like people don't front. It's a very genuine fan base. It's hard to fake a love for anime. Like it's
And as an outsider, just my observations. Yeah, as I consider myself an ally, but like not, and I want to be part of the community.
Anime
but
ally.
Like,
We love you.
yeah.
We love you.
But like truly, again, we're both performers, and
Yeah.
we've dealt with the movie community, the video game community, and all that.
And you, I mean, being an online content creator,
yes,
you deal with
you understand the internet and
the internet community.
different fandoms. Yeah, believe me, the Super Smash Brothers community has
Oh, the
bone to
Sweatbox.
pick with me.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, we're not going to get back into that. But I, from my observations, I feel like the anime community, and even more so the cosplay community, I'll get into that. They're less kind of an Ouroboros where it like eats itself, whereas like the video game community and the movie, it's like, you're
They
not.
they
you're
fight
not-
themselves.
They fight themselves, and insert political joke here. It's like, but the anime community, I feel like it's been, and it's changed a lot, but like there is a certain solidarity of being like an anime fan where
More
I feel like
uplifting.
in a lot of other metas there isn't quite that, which I find very inspiring, and it's like it gravitates me towards that community. And I think cosplay even more so because, and I don't think this is talked enough about, I think there's a hell of, like I'm an actor by trade, but
Nice.
like to dress up in a costume, especially one that like I helped create, it's
Yeah.
like that is really putting yourself out there, and that is bold, and that is brave, and that's hard to fucking do.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy for some of us outside of the cosplay community to look at it as like, oh, they're trying to like show off and be like, oh, but really you're putting yourself out there, and like as an actor, I know how liberating it is to like embody someone who's not yourself for a second.
Yeah.
It's like to just have a break from your, like even for a couple hours on stage, just like step out of yourself for a second.
Yeah.
And that's beautiful, but it's also very risky and very like, it's so vulnerable. And
Totally.
I don't think people really talk about that enough, and I think the cosplay community recognize within each other like, hey, you're able, you know what I know, and
Yeah.
no one else knows, like to take this step. And I don't know, can you speak, that's not really a question, but can you speak to that at all? I don't know.
I definitely will, because it's funny that you say that, because I get DMs about like, hey, how did you start? Hey, can I start like this? And it's just like, literally just start. But when it comes to the breakdown,
Easier said than done, though,
Yeah.
right?
no,
Yeah.
literally, because I do get that there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Especially when you're going out in front of people, and a lot of people have anxiety.
Totally.
So it's like, okay,
Insert
cool.
Dochi here. Play the track. We can't. It's copyrighted.
Taking that leap, like we kind of did that with our career choices, and you obviously have as well. But like, I guess with cosplay, like what was it something that you had kind of been wanting to do for years, or was it just kind of like you got the impetus and you're like, this is like who I want to be?
Or
like,
did
a
you
little
look?
bit,
Or did you look in your closet and you're like, I could do it.
Yeah.
I could do a Hunter x Hunter. I got some stuff.
Because
or-
so many people I think do want to do cosplay but don't know where to begin. And I think
Well, they
there's different
also-
paths. So
and
I think I'm
I
just curious about yours.
People have a common misconception about cosplay. There's a lot of different types of cosplayers.
Mm-hmm.
You can make your entire outfit from scratch, and
Right.
some people do that, and that's their shit. They like do the Eva foam, and they're like in there with the hot glue gun and like painting.
We got
and
like cucumber cosplay. Like,
cucumber
for
cosplay,
example.
yeah.
I
And
know
you
what you're
you
talking about a lot.
spend she made like
Yeah.
her shields and
She's
stuff.
a common guest on the show, so yeah.
And then there's also cosplayers where like you can buy a costume. Like there's nothing
Sure.
wrong with that. You can buy a costume and you can fully embrace that character in any way you want. You can make it from your clothes at home. It doesn't have to be extremely accurate. Like, and I feel like that's the pressure some people feel where they're like, well, I don't know how to make a costume. Do you think that, did you ever think about that? Did you ever struggle with that? Or you were just like, nah, I'm just going to wear whatever I want to wear?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm very particular, but it was kind of more of the, I'm gonna do my own thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
You make it your own.
Yeah, so I looked up everything on Amazon, like for my first kilo outfit.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. I need purple shorts. Amazon list, purple shorts. All
Well,
right, cool.
looks
What else
good.
does he have? White hair. I need white hair. I need a skateboard. I need a white T-shirt. I need the 99.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's great advice too for people at home. Like, if you like the character, maybe pick a character that's a little easier. Maybe for your first character, you don't have to do full body paint and like all that stuff. That can come down the line if you want to do that. So also, you're comfortable at the con. Think we talked a little bit about getting really sweaty in the Spider-Man suit.
Oh yeah.
The cons are a lot. Do you want to talk about cons a little bit?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
So have you been to other ones aside from like the New York Comic Con, Anime NYC?
I've been to a lot.
Okay, let's get into it. did you love about some of them? What did you not like? What was your experience at different cons outside of New York?
The cons in New York, I love the cons here because this is home. This is where I have the most reach, where it's like, I've made so many friends that I could just be like, hey, I'm making a post. Hey, does anybody want to do this with me? And I'll get at least 50 messages back to be like, all right, cool, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to put it together.
Whoa.
So that that in itself is like a humbling experience because these are true friendships being made in the con experiences. And then being inside the con is just like so much to do. So I'm running over to booths, I'm running over to panels, I'm running downstairs to see what unique merch I cannot get outside of here, or what business cards I could get because I wasted too much money on everything else. So I now have to wait till the next paycheck.
That's me at the end of the con days getting those business cards because I'm like, I can't buy anything, but I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this. That's so funny.
Like, I'll see you in 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be on your website in 3 weeks. Thank you.
Yeah.
What's some negatives about the con? Not to harp on negatives,
No, but
what to expect if you haven't been to a con before, maybe?
Expect people not to wear deodorant. That is a tough one.
Truth.
Because sometimes, you know what? I just want to say this out loud publicly. Please take a shower before you go. And then carry Dove spray. If not, you could always get one.
Carry
across
it
the
with
street.
you.
Like just 1, 2. That's it. That's all
It's
you gotta
going to
do.
wear off. Here's the thing. It's going to wear off during the day. It gets hot on
does get
the
hot.
showroom floors.
Yeah.
Artist alley, it gets hot, and you're bumping into people. Your deodorant's gonna rub off. Bring a little baby travel deodorant. Stick it in a pocket. I agree.
I think it's
That's
pretty
really good advice.
Yeah.
Really good advice.
I'm curious, just as someone who's like very interested in, because it's like stand-up comedy. It's like something I'm interested in, but I just don't. Again, like I'm a professional performer, but I don't have the balls to do it. Is like frankly how I feel. So I'm curious for you in particular, but I feel like the general vibe. Cosplaying is an expression of kind of art that you can relate to, where it's like embodying a character within this kind of explored and developed universe, or is it more of a love letter and passionate type of thing as expressing your fandom, or is it more of like a way to link to the community? Is it like social, or is it more? I feel like all of those could be applicable reasons, and those are just the reasons that I'm thinking as an outsider off the top of my head. Like, what was your kind of creative impetus to really kind of get into cosplay? I don't know. That's a very broad question, but
I actually think I have a really good answer for this.
I would love that. Yeah.
Hopefully. So when I started cosplaying, it was more like I wanted to prove it so I could do it for myself at first. So it was like, all right, cool, I can pull this off. Because I'm not going to lie to you, before I even started this, I'm a big self-doubter. So when I'm doing things, it's like, all right, cool, I made this video. I don't like it after 5 minutes.
The imposter syndrome.
Relatable.
It's just
Very
you make
relatable.
something that anybody else would be like, this is sick. And you're like, no.
No, it's awful.
Trash.
Yeah. No.
Okay, so
That's
so that's a
relatable,
huge hurdle to get over though, because
Yeah.
you put on a cosplay, you like the character, you love the anime, and you want to go show it off. Do you ever like look and you're just like, it's not right, I'm not ready? How do you get over that? How did you get to that point where now you are a cosplayer?
It came to the point where it was just like the famous words of Shia LaBeouf. Just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do it. So when I started comparing myself to other cosplayers, I was like, all right, cool. This is cool enough. This is cool enough. I have enough confidence and swag that I could pull this off.
Yeah.
So then when I actually, like, for example, my Killmonger, I made a cosplay Killmonger. I got
Nice.
the vest. I was like, all right, cool. Jeans. I like this. I like the boots. I could put all this together. What don't I like about it? I don't like the hair. I hate it. I need my friend to fix it. So.
Did you do your own hair? Did you do twists or anything? Or what'd you wear?
Oh, I put on a wig.
You put on a wig? Okay. Hey, cosplay, the great thing is plenty of wigs.
Plenty.
Wear a wig. Way easier than doing I've seen people do their own hair. They'll like tease it up and do all this stuff and spray it. And I'm like, couldn't be bothered. Put on a wig. That's crazy. So you switched it up. You put on something else. You fixed the wig. And then you were like, yes, now I feel it.
Yup. And then I got my cousin to come with me to the last convention. And then we did a dance with that same Killmonger fit on.
Dang. Oh, so that's a question that I like to ask cosplayers. Do you often reuse a cosplay that you really like? Will you bring it back for different cons over the years, or do you always feel like you want to do something new?
I always want to do something new, but I'm not gonna lie to you. When I get to my favorite cosplay, I love putting it back on.
Yeah.
Except for my law one, I have to retire it. I'm like, because that's what I feel like that's my best one. So that's what everybody knows me for. Firstly, so it's
Okay.
like, oh my gosh, you got your law Wano. And like we're in Egghead now. I'm like, oh, we're in a different series for the people that don't get it. Yeah, I'm gonna switch it up.
Yeah, you're like,
Eventually.
it's about time, right? Oh, that's interesting. That's funny. People are like, love it, but this is a little outdated. I'm like, oh no, it's my worst nightmare
It's
actually.
always, there's always, but again, it's like just the engagement itself. I feel like it's a
Totally.
community where it's like there's a support within that, and I don't know. Again, there's like a bravery to it where it's not. I mean, look, I wear the same like flannel, not today, but like for the last
You actually
year and a
switched it
half
up today.
in this-
Normally
I know,
you wear
I
a
know,
flannel.
normally I wear a
Nice.
flannel. I'm still wearing my Packers gear, but like I'm well aware that like costume play is not like my medium, and it's one of those things similar to anime where with us growing up and video games and everything where it's so easy to have like critics on the outside, and it's just like
1,000%.
you know, and to be
1,000.
actually able to like be like, no, this is my medium that like speaks to me, and this
Yeah.
is what I can like put to the world. I just really respect it, and this is just like a quote off, just I'm coming up with this like, it's not the critic who counts.
Why are you
not
looking at your
the man who
computer?
points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better, because the credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena. Okay, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. Okay, but who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions? Who spends himself in a worthy cause? Who at the best knows in the end, in the triumph of high achievement?
Gladiator?
And who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
Is this
You've been a
Shakespeare?
man in the arena as a cosplayer, braver than I ever could be, and I really respect it. And
Was this Shakespeare?
Give this man an Oscar.
Where are you pulling that from? What a pull.
I was,
Right off the dome.
yeah.
Wow.
But really though, like to put yourself out there in like a new medium, it's almost to me cosplay is like
And-
the anime of the 90s, where it's like this is a very true medium that I think is just going to grow and grow and grow, and it's like you're a pioneer of the industry essentially.
when I
like
wanna
that's fucking cool.
I want to say too, it's super dope. And
yeah,
I want
there's
to
no
say,
question in there. I'm just
Not-
I'm just impressed. All right.
but not only, going to cons, but with the internet, like putting yourself out there on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, Blue Sky, whatever. How do you keep engagement? Because I think this is another question a lot of people have, like, oh, I want to do like anime content, or I want to do cosplay content, but I don't really know what to do. How do you come up with your ideas? Like, do you brainstorm? Do you talk with friends? Do you just watch anime and then you're like, I've got it?
Honestly, a mix of all three. When it came to My Hero, that was when I saw the movie, I was like, oh my gosh, this is such a great part. Oh my goodness, I love this. You know what would be funny? With that sound that I heard earlier, what happened? What happened? Because that's exactly what happened to Kanchan when he woke up. That went viral. And then even cosplaying myself, where it's just like, all right, cool. You know what? I love this fit. What's a trending sound? How can I keep up with the times? What's trending?
The algorithm.
Literally,
yeah.
the algorithm is your best friend and your worst enemy at the same time.
It's true.
Because if you let it go for too long, you make a video on Monday, it's not trending by Friday.
True.
So it's like when you get it, make it, put it out. Unless
Yeah.
it's like clothing content where I started to get it into, it's like, all right, cool, I can make this. As long as I look swagged out in here, then it's fire. It's lit.
As long as you feel like that's almost it too. It's like for costumes, it's like I don't know about you, but with stage, they put you in a period piece where like
Oh,
affects
and you
your posture.
feel-
You feel the character.
You feel the character,
And I'm
yeah.
sure with cosplay, it's
Oh,
I can imagine
1,000%.
it's very similar. We have to wrap it up, unfortunately, but we'd love to have you back tomorrow.
Yeah, are you free? Can you come back?
Yeah, we can come back.
We didn't
tomorrow.
even get to talk about Pokemon.
Yeah.
We didn't get to talk about so much stuff.
There's a lot we want to talk. I have one more question before we go, but can you come back tomorrow?
Say yes.
Say yes. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Yes.
Yay!
But you set us up, and I can't waste the opportunity. You set us up, and we didn't ask. Who's your favorite character?
Oh, of all time? We're gonna table that for the next one.
You heard
Calling the
it.
shots.
You heard it here. A cliffhanger.
I like it.
In the middle of the
All
end.
right. Don't be like Severance and make me wait 3.5
Yeah,
fucking
right.
years, by the way.
We better see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Jasirii, before we jump to our tier list, don't go anywhere. Please plug yourself. Tell
Yes.
people where to find you.
Okay, so my social media handle is the same on everything. It is JASIRII_GQ.
Perfect. On all things. So
All
follow
platforms.
Jasirii, and we will see you on the next episode. Heck
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
And stick around for the tier list.
Next level play. Welcome back. Oh, Sydney, are you crying? Are those tears?
I just know we have to do a tier list, so I was warming up.
Yeah, and this is one that I'm a little more familiar with than Sydney, so
That's why I'm crying.
it's my time to shine.
Because Marcus is gonna talk the whole time, and
Yes.
I'm like gonna try to get one word in. He's gonna be like, "You're actually wrong."
No, not the no. They're gonna click off if you say that. So let's
Actually, I'm gonna talk a lot.
lots of Sydney. Lots of Sydney.
No. You should tell them what the tier list is.
Upcoming Switch 2 release titles, some of which may already be out at this point, but we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah,
you
we
know.
talked a lot in this episode, so let's get into it. Let's rank them.
Perfect.
S
S to D.
to D.
Great. You can put your little storage on there, put it up, and upload it.
Nice. I was trying to find an SD
It's-
joke, but okay.
mine wasn't good.
Hit me with it.
Mario Kart World. That's the launch title. What do you think? We talked about it enough.
I spoke
think.
about it a little
Yeah.
bit. Not
I
that
think we're kind of aligned.
But now this is different because it's a ranking of all the games in general, not like a release game. But I mean, it's Mario Kart.
It's Mario Kart, which is both a positive and a negative.
B?
I would say A.
Okay.
It's still Mario Kart.
Yeah.
It's still gonna sell Mario
And I
Kart
don't-
8 has sold so ridiculous.
And here's
that
the thing.
Everyone loves it.
The game's not out yet, so I don't know.
Can we do A?
Low A.
Okay.
Nice.
Thanks.
Good rhyme.
Okay, thanks. All right, so now we have and this I'm going to go a little hot takey. The Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom re-releases with extra support like on your phone through like some new app and all these other type of they're re-releasing.
The fact that you have to bring your phone out, I don't know.
It kind of looks cool. I'm going to
Does
be
it?
honest.
Because I was going to drop it down because of that.
I'm going high C low B because I'm sorry I have these games and like
The re-release.
Give me a new Zelda.
Yeah.
Like, give me a fucking new
It's
Zelda.
a re-release. You're just You're just packaging a re-release
Yeah.
for a new console. I was going to say B, but
Right.
C, you want to do?
I would just rather these resources be put towards the new Zelda game and
Yes.
have the new Zelda game come out 6 months sooner than it's going to, which at this point we're looking at like 2028 probably.
Yeah.
Honestly. So, yeah, I'm fine with as low as you want to go on that, which is
C.
the lowest I'll put a Zelda game that's not Wand of Gamelon.
C plus.
I have a potential S, and this is for my brother. But Deltarune.
Never played it. I can't judge it.
It's basically the spiritual successor. Well, really just the successor because it's the same creator of Undertale. And
Right, but-
Deltarune Chapter 1 came out like on the Switch, and it was a big deal, and it's really
did I play
good.
Deltarune?
And we've been waiting for years and years and years to get Deltarune. I think Chapter 2 already came out, but this is 3 and 4 are launching
Oh,
with
wait.
the Nintendo Switch, and it's really big news.
I did play I played
Yeah.
I played Undertale, and then I played Deltarune, but only Chapter 1. And I forgot about it.
Say- My brother
so-
loves it so much. People are hyped about
Let's put this as S. I would
for
be,
indie games.
I would be
sake,
down.
Yes.
I would be down. And I didn't know that we were still waiting on more chapters
Yes.
because I haven't played my Switch.
What I'm excited for, but I have to drop it to an A, maybe even a B, because the first impression's not great. Enter the Dungeon 2.
Oh, first
Gungeon.
impression.
Enter the
I know what
Gungeon.
you meant.
It's one of my favorite games.
Enter
I can't
the-
believe I did that.
Enter the Gungeon.
Enter the Gungeon. Yeah, too.
Looks not good.
They're going with the 3, like it already has this beautiful pixel art that like it's kind of 2D sprites.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And they're changing to like a 3D kind of sprite thing, and it looks busy, and but people are like, let's wait for the actual gameplay.
Okay.
This is just kind of a reveal trailer. But I'm very excited about that. So I'll put
Okay.
it again, I'm very trepidatious, but it's still Enter the Gungeon.
A,
So
B?
low A for me,
Okay.
but we can drop it to a B. Whatever the editor fucking wants to do. Who knows?
Make it up.
We don't even know. Okay. Last S for me, and then I want to throw some at you.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm very, very hyped for the new Donkey Kong 3D platforming
I
adventure.
thought you were going to put Metroid. I thought. Oh, but it's coming out on Switch 1.
That's kind of the thing. And,
Yeah.
and I will throw that as an S because
Yeah.
I'm obviously very, very excited for Retro Studios,
but
Metroid
it's not
Prime
an
4.
exclusive.
And a lot of these aren't going to be. Most of these aren't going to be. But you're right. I forgot about Metroid, honestly. I'm trying to save face because that to me is an S as well. Because that, to me, yes, I'm like, That's how it's going to work for me. I'm going to get Metroid Prime 4 on my Switch 1. Donkey Kong's going to release, and that's when I'm going to get the Switch 2. Probably. So
Give me another
those are my
one.
S's. Ooh, okay, how about this?
Give me a tricky one.
So there, I'm all about my Nintendo Switch Online virtual consoles. They don't call them that.
Yeah,
but, the old N64 and the GameCube is coming out with Switch 2.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the GameCube classic console. You know how they had the NES and Super Nintendo?
So you'll have all access to the full library of GameCube games?
Not full library. These are all very limited libraries.
Okay.
Like Nintendo 64 now has about 20 titles, but launched with maybe 4 or 5.
Okay.
And so they're launching the GameCube. I'm happy about that.
I'm into this.
Yes. However, I'm not thrilled with their selection of launch titles. Wind Waker.
Okay.
Which I actually still have my GameCube, and I have played Wind Waker. So for me, I don't care, but that's a great choice.
Yeah.
F-Zero GX, great for me.
Okay.
Crazy difficult racing title with Captain Falcon.
I've never...
But I'm actually very pumped that they're including that personally.
Okay.
That's the one that interests me. And Soul Calibur 2. Now, they've teased a lot. They've teased Luigi's Mansion. They've teased Mario Sunshine, I think they said they're going to do. But, like, where's Mario Sunshine? Where is Luigi's Mansion? Where's Pikmin 1?
Yeah,
Like,
that's interesting.
these are interesting titles. Where's Kirby Air Ride? That's another one. They're doing a Kirby Air Ride new game directed by Sakurai himself. Yes. He's done with Smash. Well, he's not done with Smash, but he's taking a break from Smash.
Whoa.
If not done with Smash.
That's cool.
And he's coming back to the Kirby Air Rider series. So I've already used up my S's. I love that series, but I've used my S's. I'm dropping it to an A just out of principle. What do you think of Kirby Air Ride remake?
Kirby Air Ride remake, I'm into.
Not remake, but new game.
Yeah, new game, I should say. You're right, not remake.
That was my bad.
Kirby Air Ride, new game, I'm into. Love Kirby. Hard to say. Depends.
Did you play Kirby Air Ride?
No,
on
I've only
GameCube?
watched it.
It's fun.
Because I didn't have a GameCube. My cousins did. And it was only at like Christmas. And then my mom would be like, get up from the basement. Stop playing their GameCube. You're here to spend time with family.
It's one of those games where I have very fond memories of, but I feel like if I go back and play it, it'll be
That's why I'm curious about the new game.
rough.
I'm curious what direction they're going to go in. If it's
it deserves to be modernized.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I wanted to say Soul Calibur 2, it exists already. Like it's nothing crazy. It's nothing new. But
These are, again,
But I would throw it into at least a B, because how fun.
Take these 3 games.
Yeah.
As the GameCube, as a classic
Oh.
retro gamer, I get the GameCube, but you only get 3 games to start on launch.
Those are the ones.
How do you rank that as a
C.
collection?
A C.
Oh, that's a little low.
I don't think it's like you said, it's not the ones I would have picked.
Yeah.
It's interesting choices. I think they're trying to diversify a little bit
Sure.
before they throw in what you would expect.
And then it's almost like malicious non-compliance a little bit with Wind Waker, because it's like
Right?
you've packaged this game.
What was
and
Majora's
sold
Mask
it.
on?
N64, which they already
N64,
have.
okay.
Which it all carries over from
Yeah,
Switch 1
yeah.
to the games that are already there. And I know we're going on a different conversation, but it's Wind Waker to me. It's kind of shitty because you've re-released this game in HD for $60 multiple times in the last decade, and now it's like, oh well, we'll give you this for free, but now we can hold on to Luigi's Mansion and Mario Sunshine because we're giving you the big Zelda title.
That's why I'm
and it's like
putting it in a C.
we already have it because you made us buy it already again. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Moving on.
I think we got to wrap that up. This is taking long enough. Do you want to give one more?
I
before we
do.
wrap it up?
I want to go negative, and I'm just gonna prime you politically. Hogwarts Legacy come and Switch 2.
I have to throw it into a negative Z, like a T for turf. I don't know. I got to put it super low. I think that's a hilarious.
Stir the pot.
Is that real?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's
I think
hilarious.
it's all well. Anyway.
I mean, you got to do what you got to do. The game exists in the world, and you have to
Fortnite.
put it on package.
Where do you rank Fortnite? Coming to Switch 2. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd have to put it in A.
What?
Cyberpunk's great.
You haven't lost any faith in Cyberpunk and the whole fact that they're re-releasing it for the umpteenth time. It's not.
No, it's an amazing game.
Okay.
Honestly, no. The DLC was brilliant. Phantom Liberty was fan-fucking-tastic.
That's like me putting Ocarina of Time as an S just because it's gonna be on the Switch too.
You do that all the time with retro games, Marcus.
Yeah, but that's when we're ranking retro games.
That's our
I don't even
tier
know what I'm
list
arguing at this
for
point.
today with the Switch 2 so far announced new quote-unquote games coming to the Switch 2.
Donkey Kong Bonanza, by the way, is the name of the DK 3D game that I have not mentioned that title this entire game while hyping it.
Bonanza. Put it as an
It's
S.
fun.
Put it as an S.
Bananas.
Thank you. Bananas. Thank you for watching. But stick around. We're not done yet. You got to stay tuned for post-market news.
Oh, no.
We'll have our favorite guy in, Samurai, to discuss some predicciones.
What bold prediction do you have for us today?
Today prediction I think we're all going to be able to get on board with. Not very controversial, not anything crazy. Everyone settle down. I got a prediction here for you. My prediction today, Crash Bandicoot. Oh. The game.
One of my favorite games.
Marcus loves.
I love me some Crash
Big Bandicoot guy.
I'm a
I would say the number
B
one.
squared. Big Bandicoot boy.
Big
Whoa.
B cubed. Yeah.
B cubed.
Wow, okay. B
Got it
cubed,
right.
Bandicoot boy,
Big
but
Bandicoot.
trademark
A
on it.
BBB.
A BBB. Let's test your knowledge then real quick. What is Crash Bandicoot's last name?
Bandicoot.
No, Crash Bandicoot's one word.
I would actually second Bandicoot. I don't.
Bandicoot.
This is a wild marsupial.
Oh, sorry. What is Bandicoot?
I mean, him and Coco are kind of adopted by
The
Aku
professor?
Aku. So you could say Crash Aku.
Are you going to go with Aku?
Sure.
I'm going with Bandicoot.
They're both right. It was a trick question, and those are both right. You guys passed the test, and that means you get to hear my prediction today.
Lucky me.
The prediction today. In the next Crash Bandicoot game, Crash is going to have to finally get real, take it down a notch. He's been too crazy for too long. He's going to get a desk job, and it's going to be Crash Bandicoot, Office Simulator. And in this platforming adventure, Crash Bandicoot will have to overcome tasks such as using the K-cups in the kitchen. He's going to have to set up a Teams meeting. He's going to have to use the elevator and make awkward small talk with Sarah in accounting. And these are the tasks that Crash Bandicoot is going to have to do. And it's going to be his hardest adventure yet because he's good at being zany. You ever see that guy frown? No. Now he's going to have to overcome his most difficult adventure yet.
I mean, his sister would be great at
She's
this.
technologically savvy.
Coco would be great
Yeah.
in an office. Certain people just aren't made for office life. I'm included in that, you know, and I can do it if I have to. I can last a few months in a stuffy office setting. Certain people, just thinking off the top of my head, like you, Samurai, wouldn't be able to last a day. Just throwing that out there.
Well,
maybe an hour.
I wouldn't
maybe that.
I wouldn't have to because I'm a very successful and well-compensated streamer.
Sure, Crash doesn't wear a shirt, nor can he speak English. I don't even think he has thumbs. So, that's going to be really tough for him.
Yeah.
What if he has to
succeed
unjam
in
a stapler?
office.
What's he going to do?
Can you wear...
Level 3.
Yeah.
Can you wear jorts in an office?
Not usually.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
It's a Silicon Valley type thing. Jorts are permitted.
I love this idea because it's combining two of my favorite things, Crash Bandicoot and also simulators. And I just imagine, you try to reach with your thumbless hand to the Keurig to do the K-cups, and you just spin around in a circle. And you just spin and just knock that shit off the
And
counter.
all of a sudden, your manager's in there.
Oh,
you're
they're
getting yelled
yelling.
at.
You're yelling.
Listen,
Everyone's yelling.
I mean, no offense, and I love Crash Bandicoot, but he is a bit slow.
He's a bandicoot. He's a wild animal.
His IQ, we're probably looking at 20s.
He's got his tongue
tops.
out most of the time.
Yeah,
And you can see the challenge when he has to accept this job to support his Bandicoot family.
But there are a lot of other, video game characters that would be much better equipped in an office
if they were
setting.
better equipped, the game would be too easy.
I disagree. This is a challenging game.
Wait, so it's not a simulator then? It's like a tough as nails, Dark Souls
No,
like.
it's a simulator that is tough as nails, Dark Souls like.
You're getting it.
But
You're
simulators,
getting it.
you don't do lawn mowing simulator where you have to play as a 2-year-old that can't reach the controls.
That
you know?
sounds
That's
But
good.
what
extra
if you
hit.
did?
But
That'd be
what
fun.
if?
It'd be fun, though.
Microsoft Flight Simulator where you're
pigeon.
elderly
Drunk.
old man with arthritis. That doesn't work.
I
Or it does,
I
it's
would
fun.
love to see this game. And Samurai, I'll say it now. Not even if, when this comes out, I will be playing it. I will be streaming it for all to see.
We all will.
Yeah. I'm going to give this on the Simpsons prediction meter Homer's in qualification for a safety manager job at the power plant.
Okay.
Just not qualified. In qualification, that's a word.
I'm
Non-qualification.
going to give this on the Simpsons meter, Lisa playing the saxophone.
Wow, that's
high praise. That's high praise right there.
Nailed it this time, Samurai. Thanks so much for joining us on this segment of Post Market News. We'll see you next time. We'll see you when we have you back on our next episode of Next Level Play. Thanks so much for watching.